Welcome to episode 6 of the VanDyk Mortgage West Michigan Conference Weekly Coaches Show. I'm host Cody Kater. Each week, I'm chatting with a coach and players from the West Michigan Conference football team. Today, we feature the Ravenna Bulldogs. Head coach Justin Ego is joined by senior quarterback, free safety, punter, kicker, return man Hunter Hogan, and junior receiver, linebacker Drew Mabrito. Ravenna is 5-1 overall and 4-0 in the West Michigan Conference Rivers Division, entering this Friday's showdown at North Muskegon, which is 5-1 overall and 3-0 in the WMC Rivers. It's the North Grove Brewers WMC Game of the Week. Don't miss the free live stream on the CatchMark SportsNet YouTube channel. Before we get any further in the show, let's thank our sponsors, from whom, without their support, shows like this would not be possible. First off, thanks for our title sponsor, VanDyk Mortgage Lakeshore. Also, thanks to Foundation Systems of Michigan, Scheid Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, David Dusenberry of Coldwell Banker, Durga Insurance, Chris Dykema and Sarah Real at Green Ridge, Big Stone Therapies, North Grove Growers, Grieve Law. A little bit more about our guest. Justin Ego is in his third season as Ravenna's head coach. He took over during the pandemic, which made it difficult initially to meet his players and organize his program. The Muskegon Catholic Central alumnus spent several seasons as an assistant coach in the Muskegon program. Ravenna posted a 7-4 record last season, including 2 wins over North Muskegon, one in the first round of the playoffs. In the season opener this season, Ravenna led Beal City 21-0 before several players cramped up. We'll get into that a little bit. That seemed to change the dynamic of the game as Ravenna lost 22-21, and it was their only loss. The Bulldogs have won 5 straight since then. Accompanying Ego on the show is Do Everything senior Hunter Hogan, here still wearing a varsity jacket, who also crowned homecoming king Friday. What can't he do? With a 62-30 win over Hesperia. Also joining Ego is Drew Mabrito. Let's talk a little bit about last game. You know, you guys are in this new Rivers Division, coach. First of all, what do you think about the new conference?
I think it's a good move for us. I think it's a little bittersweet, though. You lose some conference games that have been going on forever in the
Right.
West Michigan Conference. But I do think good thing for us, our crossovers. We still got Montague and Oak Ridge, so we didn't lose out on that. But I just think it's a new opportunity to play some new teams. Make some new rivalries and play teams more our size, and student bodies are same level as us. So I think it's a good move. But like I say, eventually, hopefully, we can keep some of those rivalries going that have been built so strong.
Right. What about like the Drew, you can answer this. What about the stadiums? You get used to these stadiums probably growing up and watching all these, Ravenna Bulldog games at these other stadiums, and now, you're heading over to other stadiums. What's been the best stadium so far that you've been in? A new one at least.
I liked Holden because of turf. I mean, it's always nice to play on turf because it's just, you don't have to worry about like how long the grass is, It's just nice, easy to play on. But yeah, definitely Holden.
So you got Holden. So did you wear your white shoes, white socks too, to try to make yourself look faster?
Nah.
You're already fast enough. All right. So, yeah, I mean, and that's the biggest thing, as I kind of look at it. I'm a new coach in a new conference as well. So I'm running around these new stadiums and I don't know, where to go, where to park, where to sit. And also, kind of what to expect. All right. So Hesperia, Hunter, it was 62-30. Sounds like it was homecoming.
Mm-hmm.
You are also the homecoming king. You're the quarterback, return man. You Mr. Do everything, for the Ravenna Bulldogs. What was it like to get that win over Hesperia?
It was big in front of all the homecoming crowd. It was just special to have that, and then winning king, and then watching all the second string go in and fight for us in front of the homecoming, and it was just real good to get that win.
So what's the best feeling, kicking a goal, and for soccer, scoring a touchdown, or becoming homecoming king?
Definitely scoring a touchdown.
All right.
Easy.
yeah. Your coach is at the table. All right. So that's a good call. All right. Coach, as you guys prepare for this one, so Hesperia's over with. You guys went 5-1. So far you kind of had a week one where, he had some things just out of your control occur. Had to pivot a little bit and adjust, and I'm guessing that you had some learning lessons over that first loss. But then you pick up a bunch of wins after this, after that, and now you're looking forward to North Muskegon. What can you tell us about this week's matchup?
It's a big game, for the conference right now, for at least a share of it. Great team. They're well coached, and watch them on film. They got a lot of weapons, and quarterback can really sling it and get it out there. So we're just trying to, be able to slow them down and be the best version of ourselves. And, hopefully the rest will take care of itself.
So, Drew, you have you've been up on varsity and you've played North Muskegon before. How is this game different than, the previous times that you've played North Muskegon?
I think this game's a little different because of what happened last year. I mean, we beat them on their homecoming and then ended their season. So I think they're going to come into this one like a chip on their shoulder and definitely going to want this a little bit more. And I think since now it's we're both 4-0 in the Rivers, I think this is a big show to see who's the top dog in a sense, see who's the better, who's the best. And I think it's going to be a really good game because we match up really well with them. And when we've played them since I was a little kid, we've always went to the championship with them, and it's always been such a good matchup. So I think it's going to be a good game.
So what do you have to do as an individual player to help secure the victory on Friday?
I think I got to do my job and just stick to my keys, not worry about the surrounding stuff, and just worry about the game, just play in the moment for sure.
All right, so Hunter, you've been in a lot of big games. You've been in a lot of situations probably throughout your playing career. What excites you the most about big games like this Friday?
This is just like every other game for me, really. No game is bigger than the other for me, really. I don't care if there's more people watching, if there's more TV people there. I don't really care. I just love playing football in front of my parents and family.
Man, what a great answer, Coach. You are spoiled,
Yeah,
Coach.
right.
That's when we look at a big game and a big game atmosphere, and there's a lot on the line here when it comes to winning conference, and it's going to go through you guys. North Muskegon and Ravenna, and then Hart's over there, kind of lingering towards the end of the season as well. What is different about this year's team, Hunter, than maybe previous year's team, and makes this season so special?
These guys are hungry. Last year we had guys that were pretty much in set positions since we were 5th and 6th grade. Everyone knew that we would have that same team all the way up through everything. This year we got a lot of different people from different places that came in from Oak Ridge and even other schools that are hungry and want to win for the Bulldogs.
Okay, so you made that comment about growing up in set positions. What has changed this year, where maybe there's other players in other positions, or they're hungry? What does that mean?
Well, they all just Chase Thomas. This is my first year ever playing with him, and he's as good as his brother was last year, maybe even better. He's hungry, want to play for us. He'd do anything for us. And I've only played with him 1 year, and he's hungry. So that's how the whole team is. Even if we haven't played with each other for our whole life, that we all would fight for each other.
Just a new energy.
Yeah, just different.
Just kind of carrying off of one another, and and there's a different type of hunger, and people want to prove themselves. That makes those seasons special when you've got a lot of individuals that are surrounding those types of people. Coach, kind of turn the tide a little bit, on Ravenna, and you've been there for 3 seasons now. What makes you coming back to Ravenna, and what makes Ravenna so special?
I mean, I just love the community and the football community, the environment. There's nothing like a Ravenna home game. Just all the support and, from whether it's a community, administration, the players, everyone just, backs you up, supports you. And it's just a great feeling to know that they got your back. Win, lose, draw, they're there to support you, and they got your back.
Drew, what do you what do kids at Ravenna do for fun?
I mean, I don't even know. It's not really much. There's not. I mean, it's out in Ravenna, so like bonfires, just like get-togethers. Not really like your average little hometown. A lot of that.
So where do you guys like go out to eat on after a game on Friday or a Saturday afternoon? What does that look like?
It's either B-Dubs or Applebee's every single time. I mean, like every single time it's B-Dubs or Applebee's. I think I've ate like 1,000 B-Dubs wings in my life. It's crazy.
Okay, so you're pro B-Dubs?
100%.
Oh, okay, that's good. That's a good deal. So Hunter, being the homecoming king, and the Mr. Do Everything. I mean, I'm guessing that your fellow teammates and maybe even some community members are maybe jealous of maybe all the things that you do. How do you take that on?
I haven't really took that on. I guess I haven't heard much hate or anything coming from the community or anything or anyone. 'Cause I don't know. I guess I've never heard of any of that.
Okay, so you there's not any players that wish that maybe they got the ball a little bit more or anything along those lines. Have you ever had to deal with any of that?
No, I've never gotten a fight with a player ever in my whole life with a player wanting the ball more or whatever, wanting me to talk to a coach to give them the ball more. I've never gotten that. Or even from a parent wanting their kid to get the ball more. I've never had that. They just want to win.
Coach, come on, man. Like, you got this guy in a varsity jacket. He's playing 5 sports. Wow. So I think, kind of touching on that Ravenna piece, it sounded like there was kind of a special guest at the homecoming game, this last week. So there's kind of a special aspect that happened. And, Keegan Swan, who's diagnosed with leukemia nearly 11 months earlier, was able to take the field. Coach, could you just kind of talk about that and the sense of community, what Ravenna kind of has within its nucleus, but, for something like an event like that to happen, just kind of share your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, it puts everything in perspective. We're out here, sweating and practicing each day. And something like that really kind of humbles you and puts you back into what it's all about. And, I'll go back to last year when we found out that he was diagnosed with it. It was, the night before we played Catholic Central in the playoff game. And, what a blow that was to let our team know. In a pregame, that's the last thing you want to share with your team. But, and I think it brings communities out. And like I say, last year, at that Catholic Central game, they had 77 plastered all over the stadium, and I just thought that was awesome with, seeing 2 communities kind of coming together, putting 77, and it was all for Keegan. But, he's, kind of the heartbeat of our team, and he's been with us, since doubles, going through chemo, and would be there for doubles and kind of jogging back and forth when he could. And, eventually he just got himself ready until he said, Coach, I am cleared and ready to roll. So, I couldn't be happier for him. I mean, what a great kid and his family, and so proud at, how he's battled. And, like I say, it's just great to see the whole community rally behind him and his family. So,
Hunter, I'm guessing that you grew up with Keegan. What type of strength does that show or give, to the team, program, and or even yourself?
I know when he first got diagnosed, it was real emotional for me. I've always played with him since I was probably 5 or 6. I've played with him, and I've grew a bond with him, and we went through a lot of stuff, and I love him definitely. And to see him get diagnosed and fight through that, and then come to football on top of going to them treatments and stuff, I realized that I can do more. I can do way more. If he can do it, then I can do it. And if he can do it, I can do 2 times more than him, because he's going through a lot more than I am. So when I see him out there running and giving his all, I can run out there and give my all times 10.
Man, that's special. Especially when you have a spokesperson, like yourself that has a platform that you have, due to your athletic talents, and then also to be able to showcase, that's special. Because Keegan's probably fighting through so much adversity, and he wants to be right there where you guys are at. And you're putting things into perspective. How does that work for you, Drew? As you kind of see big picture. Sometimes it's hard. It's hard to see the picture when you're inside the frame. But when you step outside the frame, you can see the whole picture, and you see someone like Keegan Swan fighting, and also someone that you're attached to. What type of I guess just strength did that give you as well, Drew?
I mean, it was crazy because I remember that night exactly. I mean, we were just it was at the end of practice. I mean, we had a good pregame. It was probably the best pregame we've had all year, and we were all just sitting there. And then Coach McCullough said that Keegan got diagnosed, and you could just if you looked around, it was unbelievable because you've never it just didn't feel real in a sense. And as I saw Keegan over time just get sick, and then still show up to baseball, still he would be sleeping at baseball. I mean, this kid was I've never seen drive that hard in a kid. I mean, he would literally be almost wanting to throw up at baseball, but Coach Hammonds would tell him to go home, and he just wouldn't. He just wanted to be there around us, and to see him love us that much. I mean, it gave me so much strength behind knowing that that support is just behind us all the time was just. I mean, it was insane to know that somebody cares that much, and to Hunter said how it makes you want to work 2 times harder. I totally agree because if he can work that hard, even though he's sick, I mean, why can't I do it? And in a sense, that gives me so much inspiration, and he's it's so crazy.
So I think that that obviously gives him seeing him go through those things, gives you strength. But what does it mean to see him on the field again on Friday? What type of emotions does that bring to you?
When I saw him on Friday check into the game, my heart lit up. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen. When I saw 77 run on the field, it didn't feel real again. Seeing him recover after all that, yeah, my heart lit up. I was so happy for him, and I gave him the biggest hug because I didn't know what else to do. I mean, it just made me so happy and so emotional in a sense of this kid's he's back. He after all this stuff happened to him, he just fought through, and now he's doing good. He's back, and I think it showed our team that there's a love in our team, and there's a special bond that maybe we haven't had in years prior, and I think he can definitely brings a new energy and a new love to our team for sure.
Yeah, I heard Hunter, you said the same thing. You said you loved him. What how do you know that you love him? I know that's a tough question, but love is what brings a lot of teams to be really, really tight. And we talk about fighting for your brother, playing for your brother, and a true brotherhood. But I think brotherhood is obviously love, but then there's another level when you say you love someone. What can you kind of explain that, what that looks like within maybe even your locker room or within your guys' relationships inside the hallways?
Well, since he got diagnosed, we became a lot better friends. I cleaned out his basement, took all the mold and stuff out of it so he can move back in, and we've talked a lot more and talked about a little deeper stuff with each other. And once he put on that jersey, I almost cried because I haven't seen him in a jersey in so long. And I've always played with him since I was a kid, so seeing him in not playing and then trying to work his way back and just being dead tired sometimes and trying to work back just got me real emotional seeing him in that jersey, and that's why I knew this kid wants, and I just love him.
Right, man. That's special stuff, Coach. You've got a great group here. You got, I think we're sitting around this table getting a little emotional. We're gonna cut that out. But you've got you got a great group, and that's surrounding themselves with people that they care about, and they care about ball, and they care about obviously their relationships and playing for one another. How do you foster that? Is that just within Ravenna, or is that something that that can be kind of fostered or manufactured?
Well, I don't know about manufacturing it, but I think that's what makes a team, come bond and be good. And that's something I think this team has come together, kind of hearing, last year we had a lot of seniors graduate. And I think that, we've kind of put that chip on our shoulder that people thought, okay, well, they graduated everybody. This is going to be kind of a, year to get people going and that stuff. And I think they took exception to that and said, you know what, we're still here and we are going to come together as one. And, and I think the Keegan situation, definitely has helped us with that, kind of realize it's a bigger picture. And like you said, that love that, I think is special at Ravenna is, I think everyone loves each other. We're all out there for the right reasons and forward to battle with each other. And, I think that's what makes it a great place.
What does the school look like? I know that you said you're a dean of students in the middle school, so you're getting to know a lot of the middle school, age students. Mm-hmm. But what does the school look like for you guys, on game week, on like a big game coming up on Friday? Like what is like Ravenna tradition?
I guess I don't really know. My tradition is to go home and take a nap and then go to team dinner. I like taking a nap after school. That gets me ready.
Okay. So are there posters out? Are there assemblies? Are there any traditions that Ravenna does like on a big week, or is that all done during homecoming?
I don't know really. Just Ravenna always knows when there's a football game and a big one. You don't really have to put anything out. Ravenna knows.
Man, that's a good way to put it, man. That's a hashtag right there. So Drew, what about you? Like, what are some of your traditions or some of the traditions that you guys have seen at Ravenna throughout the last few years? But in a big game going into North Muskegon, what does that look like?
Well, I mean, like, especially like with the old heads, like you'll be going to like Speedway and you'll just see them and they're you'll know if it's a big game because they'll stop you and like they'll want to tell you everything that they would have done back in their day and like tell you how you should beat this team. But like, and you can tell because they like it sort of gets like more like serious in a sense of like you got to lock in for that week. Like if it's not as big of a game, everybody's like kind of like relaxed, but like the whole week and like a big game, you can just tell because like it seems like kids are like sharper and like classes. It like everybody's like on a mission in a sense. Like it's not like you're just goofing around. It's like everybody knows like it's a big game. It's a big like we need to step up.
Do you think but either you guys can answer this? Do you think it's like the tradition of Ravenna, just because you guys were in like elementary school and you kind of watched your older brothers or older family members, it'd be a cousin or whatever that is. Do you think it's because of those things, that the whole town kind of knows, or do you think it's more along the lines, just because of, the community members?
I probably combination of both. I know I've watched all like my cousins and everything play in big games and stuff like that. And probably my cousins watch their cousins and it's just, everyone's just connected in the community and that's probably how it gets like that.
And
go ahead.
And like for me, like watching my older brother play, it like his whole group of guys, like how like since they were little, they always just wanted to play football. Like that showed me when I was little, like that's what I'm gonna like get brought into, and that's exactly how it's been. It feels like it's like I'm playing the dream like we've all had, like we've all had the same dream, and like everybody gets a shot at it. It seems like everybody gets to play in what they truly dream of, playing for Ravenna.
How do you make it important? How do you make it? Is it just ingrained in you guys that it's really important, from a young age, or is it because maybe you guys were younger and you got to watch the older, guys go through it and it's a big game? Like for me, I was a water boy when I was in 5th and 6th grade.
For sure.
And so we were pulling the water out and doing all of those things. And, you got to see how important it was to my older brother. And I got to see how important it was to like the coach and how he spoke to his players and those things. Is it something along those lines, or is it something like, is it really important in your homes? How do you make it really important?
Well,
you want to go?
Yeah. I feel like it's always been important because since we were little, the first thing I remember getting taught was how to play football. It's always and it's always been engraved in our brains, you will play football. And I think for some people it's a little different, but I've always loved football because that's all I've ever known. And seeing my brother as an inspiration of how to be a good football player, it's so important to me because like my dad played football, my brother played football, and they were both like good, and like I aspire to be like them in the sense of like it's so cool to like get to play something that we all like combine into, you know, like it's kind of cool to know that we all have the same like we all had the same dream at the same spot, you know, like we were all in the same spot at one time, whether it was like my dad, my brother, my uncle, we all did the same thing. And knowing that like we all were in the same spot is such a cool like knowing that we all did the same thing.
And you're able to kind of compare yourselves and, you know, have a little
and then like
have a little, you know, barbecue,
sure.
you know, conversations at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Coach, you obviously, again, 3 years you've been a part of this. What is the one part, you know, playing at Muskegon Catholic Central? You know, you got to play them last year a little bit. You got to be on the other side, on the other sideline. What is something that, you know, you from your playing career, and now as obviously as the head coach, what are some takeaways, you know, from the Muskegon Catholic Central community, you know, compared to maybe the Ravenna company or community, and kind of what they have both in similarities?
Yeah, I think they're both really similar. They're both football communities. You know, I think one great thing is I got to kind of come back to Ravenna, which was my last game in high school. They beat us in the playoffs.
Oh, tell us more, Coach.
Yeah,
Tell us more. All right, what do we have?
Their first state title team beat us my senior year. So to be able to come back and kind of, you know, ring the bell at Ravenna in my favor this time, you know, is a good feeling. But you know, I think both communities are very similar. You know, both, you know, communities are driven by, you know, athletics and football, and just have that rich tradition of, you know, this is kind of what you do is work hard, and, you know, success will come with working hard. So
Right.
I think they're both similar.
What yeah, so I was going to say, like, what principles, because I mean, I think, you know, Muskegon Catholic Central, they've had not a lot of coaches go through there. You know, they keep those guys at home, and they love playing for them. What type of principles did you learn there that, you know, you are using now as a head coach?
I think it's just expectations, and you know, setting expectations for these young men is something, you know, they want the bar raised high, and you know, when I was in high school, it was something that's kind of what you did when you went there. Is you played football, you lifted, you worked hard. And Mr. Holmes, you know, didn't have to kind of motivate you to do it. That's just kind of what you were there to do. So, you know, I take that away. Is I just think the hard work and determination is something that, you know, I take away, and I try to, you know, show these guys that it's, you know, kind of a way of life, and you know, it's almost a cult in kind of a weird sense. That,
right.
You know, I mean, football is a, you know, a little bit of a crazy sport.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, a great thing.
Yeah.
And you know, but I mean, it's, you know, you work hard, and like these guys spend more time together in the summer than, you know, I spend more time with these guys than I do with my family sometimes in the summer. So,
Right.
you know, I just think it's a brotherhood that you know, you just kind of bring to them, and they embrace it.
Word on the street is that you were a pretty tough player, Coach. How do you get toughness out of your players, though? I think, you know, like that's always a question that I have, you know, for a lot of coaches, just because you're a talented or you're skilled as a player, or you're tough, or you hold certain characteristics as a player. How do you get that out? So, like, you know, there's, you know, the word on the street, like I said, is that you were pretty tough. How do you get toughness out of, you know, guys like these at the table?
I think, you know, expectations, and you know, like I said, setting the bar, but I don't letting them kind of feel themselves, you know, because there's times in practice I'll get on them where, you know, they think they're making a play or doing something right, and I got to remind them that's not the expectation we have, you know. You know, remember, Friday night's going to be a lot harder than here, so don't take this play off. So I think just kind of staying on them and reminding them, you know, the task at hand is bigger than just the moment right now. You know? So, you know, I truly believe, you know, try to make practice hard and not fun, so Fridays can be easy and fun. You know, because that's a lot more fun. Is like I said, no one likes practice. You know, even coaches.
Right.
We all know. You know, so if we could just play games all day long, we would. But that's not how it works. And like I said, I just think it's kind of holding their feet to the fire and telling them when they're slacking.
Yeah, I think too, you know, playing in meaningful games like you guys are about to this week, that makes the prep a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's still not something that we strive for, but you know, as coaches, but it's more fun knowing that what's at the end of this kind of tunnel here.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a big thing. Well, all right, guys. I mean, this was a lot of fun. You guys are getting, you know, prepared for North Muskegon. I wish you guys nothing but luck. I think that's gonna be a great game. You know, we're gonna be obviously checking that one on the bus ride home, to kind of see how that one fared. But I think I got to thank our sponsors one more time, our VanDyk Mortgage Lakeshore, and also thanks to Foundation Systems of Michigan, Scheid Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, David Duesenberry, Durga Insurance, Chris Dykema and Sarah Reel at Green Ridge, Big Stone Therapies, North Grove Brewers, and Grieve Law. That will do it for this week's episode of the VanDyk West Michigan Conference Weekly Coaches Show. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you guys soon. And thanks, guys, for making it over here.
Hey, thanks very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.